The context for the scene is, so this scene is actually deeply tragic, but the context for the scene is Jepthah makes a vow before a particular battle with Ammon, and it says, if I win, the very first thing out of my house I will sacrifice. I'm going to dedicate that. I'm going to sacrifice to the Lord out of appreciation. I will, whatever that animal may be. Now,
didn't think that through.
Right, so he comes home triumphant from battle, and what is the first creature to emerge from his home? It is none other but his daughter. And he is in such a state, and he is so deeply distraught about this. And she ultimately says, Dad, can I, like almost willingly, Dad, can I just go off for several days with some other lady folk and mourn, and then I'll come back? And he said, sure. But one of the fascinating things about the entirety of the book of Judges is how much women are at the forefront of the story, and how much it's almost like looking through the Bible with a very, almost like a woman-centric view, including we have Deborah, the prophetess, we have Yael, we have significant women who are taking a really important role in this book. I also find this particular scene and sort of the story, the tragedy really, of Jepthah's daughter as a criticism of something that we see in the book of Numbers. One of the things that we see in the book of Numbers is that a man whose wife or daughter offers a vow, he can actually nullify that vow. And here, it's the flip. We don't have a mechanism from the Bible in which either a daughter or a wife can reverse or nullify the vow of their husband or father. And this I see really as a criticism of that law in the book of Numbers. Now, ultimately, what the rabbis come along and say, no, we're going to create mechanisms in which people can nullify it. They're not just simply, men are not simply stuck with having to carry out what they've already vowed. But this, I believe, is almost a inner biblical feminist critique of the book of Numbers going on here with with Jepthah's daughter, and ultimately what plays out is she is tragically sacrificed, which is an inversion of something we have already seen in this gallery, which is of Isaac's his intended sacrifice. There was a father who was supposed to offer his son as a sacrifice, but was saved, and here was a father who was going to sacrifice his daughter and should have been saved, and yet didn't know how. He was not,
yeah.
Right, so this is really an inversion of it's not only a criticism of that law in the book of Numbers, but also an inversion of what we see from the intended sacrifice of Isaac.
Very interesting.